your head guard on, absolutely knock 7 lumps out of each other, 6 lumps out of each other for 6 rounds, 8 rounds. Then we just go and get a bit of food afterwards like nothing's happened, and we wake up and do it again the next day. But that's why I think we've become good friends, because we've shared that struggle together. Yeah. And I enjoyed helping him, you know, especially before the Joe Parker fight. He was in unbelievable condition, and to be able to learn off him was amazing.
Yeah. How strong is he?
He is Joe Joyce, one of the strongest and one of the fittest men I've ever met. I remember being on a rowing machine with him, and my heart was in the yellow-red zone. This is about 4 years ago, and I was struggling to keep up. He was in the blue zone, and his heart was on about 70 BPM. I was on about 140, 150, just rowing like with no effort whatsoever. It's just genetically, I think he's gifted like that, and the relentless nature of how he fights was unbelievable when I was sparring him, and that makes you a better fighter, you know.
Do you think this is the end of Joe Joyce now?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the end or not. And I don't like seeing it as the end, because boxing's just one part of your life. Mm-hmm. It is all your life, but he's still a relatively young man, 38, 39. He can do whatever he wants. He's a formidable force. He could be great in some action films, you know. He'd be amazing.
He's good looking as well.
He's got the look. He's got the look. He's very clever and intellectual guy as well. He went to university. He's into his history. Wow. He likes going down the rabbit hole with the pyramids and things like that, and learning about the royal family and stuff like that. And you have some interesting conversations, but just a really, really articulate man. And when I first met him, like, he takes a while to warm to people, which I find quite genuine, quite endearing, that he don't just become your mate straight away. And I think that's a good way to be. You build a relationship with people. And once you've got that with him, he's a really good man. And if there's one man I trust on this earth, Joe Joyce is one of them.
That's nice. Let's talk a little bit about the fight coming up on the in the December card with Usyk versus Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
×2. Was you surprised when Usyk beat Tyson?
Not surprised. I know you said Spencer Fury wasn't surprised either when you had him on, but I wanted Fury to win as the Brit, as a Fury fan.
Yeah.
And I thought at one point, round 6, round 7, he was winning the fight and turning the screw, and then out of nowhere, Usyk he got that unbelievable fitness, and it come probably down to his training and his dedication. Doesn't cut corners, and he just turned the screw, knocked Fury down, obviously, onto the ropes. So credit to him, and Usyk's a formidable guy, and you can only give him credit. And I think the rematch is going to be amazing.
What mistakes do you think Tyson Fury made in that fight?
I spoke to Jimmy Tibbs about this, legendary trainer, obviously, dad of my trainer, Mark Tibbs. And he said, yeah, he looked good. He lost weight, but not always good to lose weight as a heavyweight. He might have been better off being 19, 20 stone. I don't know what their plan was in the camp. I'm not an expert on their camp. I'm not trying to tell them what to do, but it made sense to me. If you're a big guy, you might not look body beautiful. You never will. And maybe that bit of weight might have helped him. Could have hindered him. Could have made him a bit slower. But sometimes losing weight lowers your punch resistance. You haven't got as much energy. You might look a bit better, but it might just be a little bit of an aesthetic thing rather than an actual fitness thing, you know. Look at there's been some massive guys in the past. George Foreman, when he came back, was a big old unit. Larry Holmes hasn't always been the most ripped guy, you know. You don't have to be completely chiselled or thingy to... You have to be completely chiselled to be a great fighter. Some fighters are naturally like that, but being a bigger guy, sometimes you've got to use that weight, and maybe coming in a stone or two heavier wouldn't have been a bad thing.
What does Tyson need to do differently apart from the weight this time?
That uppercut he was throwing was really effective when he was throwing that. I thought that was good. Maybe a little bit less showboating, but that's why we love Tyson Fury, because he is like that. And if he won that fight, we would have been singing his praises, saying he showboated at the same time. But that can all make a difference. That's another 2-3%. Maybe would have helped some energy down the line. But he's the bigger man. He's got to use that as best he can, and keep sticking that big jab in his face, whether it's a big hard jab or a sticky little annoying jab, you know. Use that, and then you can blind him with that, and we'll keep bringing that uppercut, because I thought them uppercuts were beautiful he was hitting him with.
It was a shock when Usyk hit him straight on the face.
But
it just felt like something.
I was gutted.
Even he felt like that. I was like, my heart was going down. It's like watching the England match and they're gone down. Know. You know what I mean? That's how I felt.
I can't believe how he stayed up, Fury. You've got to give him credit for that. And he saw it through, because big man like that getting caught like that, and the energy it takes to stay up. He's a fighting man, and we've got to remember he's had 3 fights with Wilder, and Wilder's a shell of what he used to be. And you've got to ask yourself how much of them fights taken out of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, especially the 3rd fight. That was an all-out war, and as a professional boxer, and especially a heavyweight, you can only have so many wars like that before it catches up with you. You know.
Why?
Wear and tear, big old unit. Human beings aren't designed to smash each other up like that, especially 20 stone guys, 16 stone, 17 stone plus. You can't take severe punishment like that, getting punched on the head. It's not healthy, is it? That's the bottom line, to be getting punched in the head repetitively, especially by the big guys. So you can only go to the well so many times, and Fury's probably only got 1 or 2 more times to do it.
So what do you think of someone like Mike Tyson stepping in the ring again against Jake Paul?
I think it's a farce. I think it's an absolute joke, and it's not happened, and I'm glad it's not happened. Almost 60 years old. I used to like Jake Paul. I used to think, yeah, he's doing something quite good, trying to dedicate himself, but I've got no time for it. I think it's all quite rubbish now.
What do you think of that whole scene of influencer boxing, misfits, all of that?
It's not boxing, it's entertainment. Fair play to them. Make their money. That's fantastic, but I don't regard it as boxing. I regard it as sort of wrestling style entertainment. And yeah, it is entertaining. Sometimes you watch it and you think, oh, that's a laugh, but it can never be taken seriously, ever. And that's the danger, though. Like young kids coming through now will look on my TikTok comments. They'll be like, when you're fighting Jake Paul, you should fight Tommy Fury. And like they don't understand what we have to go through as professional boxers. I know Jake Paul trains really hard, KSI, and fair play to him for making loads and loads of money, and they're great businessmen. But I mean, come on, fighting a 60-year-old nearly Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, I've got no time for that.
How do you think that plays out? Because it is scheduled for November.
I think, well, considering that Mike Tyson had to be taken off a plane, didn't he, for having heart problems, I don't think they should be sanctioned at all, ever. It's wrong.
Who is your favourite boxer of all time?
I've got a few. Lennox Lewis being one of them.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Rocky Marciano. Yeah. Old classic guy. The modern guys, Joshua, Fury, love them two the most.
There's no Tyson in there? Mike Tyson?
Oh, Mike Tyson, unbelievable. Unbelievable. But in terms of my favourites, probably Lennox Lewis, someone like that, Vitaly Klitschko. But Mike Tyson, in his prime, watched him 18, 19, 20 years old, smashing people up who were like 10 years older than him, getting a world title at 20 years old. Unbelievable.
Johnny, a big name has just been dropped. Yeah, everyone's talking about Chisora and you.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's just like putting you straight into that
Another
mix
legend.
now. He's like, you know, War Chisora, they call him, don't him? He's like a real veteran. Couldn't believe he beat Joyce. Couldn't believe that.
Yeah, I thought Joyce would be able to deal with him, but Chisora just keeps coming back. He's had 2 wins on the... Is it 2 wins on the bounce now? Who did he fight before? He fought someone else recently, but he just keeps coming back, and if he's still winning, Joe Joyce is a great name to have on your resume. So I've got a lot of time for Derek Chisora. He's a legend, and people have been bounding our names around. Eddie being the main man who's been doing that, and I feel a bit disrespectful to thinking like I'm calling for that fight. So I'm not calling for it, but if Derek Chisora came and said, let's have a fight at the O2, let's set it out, I want to do it, I wouldn't say no. It would be an honour to share the ring with Derek Chisora, and I think I'd have a good chance in. Not saying I'd win it, but I'll give a good account of myself, you know?
Yeah. How much of a task is it for Chisora being a 40-year-old?
That's the problem. Maybe if it was 3-4 years ago, I'd feel slightly differently. But age waits for, and time waits for no man, and he's been in some grueling fights, and I think Del Boy's a great character, and I think he's an unbelievable guy, unbelievable for British boxing. He'll go down and be remembered by a lot of people, and time waits for no man.
How important is timing in terms of when you're facing your next opponent? You know, if you go straight for Chisora, where do you go from there? You might be able to, you know, face an opponent like that. You might be able to get through a war like that and show a lot of, you know, toughness, but is it too fast too soon because you've had all these first-round knockouts? Not sure how much experience you're getting in the sort of actual ring. Fighting Chisora, imagine beating him. Where do you go from that?
That's the thing. It's not an immediate fight. It's whether it's just an idea that's been bandied about. I've obviously got Rudenko locked in for my next fight. That could give me some great experience. He could be he'd probably be my toughest fight to date. And then you assess from there. It's very important, as you say, you've got to look at one fight at a time. And all that's on my mind right now is beating Rudenko whenever that happens in the next month or two.
How does it feel like when you're training for a fight? You've got your trainer there, you've got a manager there, you've got a whole team around you. What happens when you're in that ring and you're alone all of a sudden?
That's it. That's the name of the game, isn't it? Like, it doesn't matter how. This is the thing with boxing; it's quite unique in a way. You don't have 10 other football players on the pitch. You don't have 14 other rugby players. If you've cut corners, it's going to show. And if you're moaning about coaches, trainers, managers, it's up to you to put them all into line, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to be seen in the ring and be accountable for what's happened in the camp. So you've got to take an onus on that and be the boss. Unfortunately, without sounding arrogant or belittling the other people, you've got to be in control, because the only person it comes down on when it all goes wrong is you. That's the bottom line. And you're the one who takes the punches in the head. No one else does. Not your manager, not your trainer, not your promoters, not your strength and conditioning coaches. They're all part of your team, but the one who's going to be getting punched in the face is you.
Does it ever get to you mentally?
No. I love it. I absolutely love what I do. I get to go up and train every day. I love training. It keeps my head screwed on. If I couldn't train, I think I don't know what I'd do. It keeps me sane, for like it does for a lot of people. So yeah, I absolutely love the ability that I've got to go and train and do something I love every day.
Before you're ready to challenge for a major title, what milestone do you feel that you need to hit?
I don't think of it in that way, Sean. I don't think I have to hit anything. I think the map is in my destiny of where I'm meant to go. All I have to worry about is winning the next fight. There's no milestone I think of in my head that I think, well, I've got to do this amount of this or do that. It's all mapped out already. All I've got to do is dedicate myself 110%, and then the rest will follow.
I like going to the gym myself.
Yeah.
I go there every morning,
Yeah.
maybe 5-6 times a week.
Yeah.
It keeps me happy.
Yeah.
I like to think I train hard.
Yeah.
You know, one day, like, I have my 2 days where I do my 5K runs.
Yeah.
I do my bodybuilding on 2 other days, and then a couple of other days I do a Pilates, yoga. Get the
It's good to do that.
out.
All the flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. All of them things.
Do you do any sauna?
Not anymore, because I go to a simple gym that doesn't have it, but I used to do it before. But
Sauna's really good.
Yeah.
I like using that, especially after you do a run. If you get in a sauna straight after a run, it actually accelerates and accentuates your cardiovascular fitness, because your heart's still doing a lot of work.
Okay.
Keeping where your temperature's going up. So there's a lot of science in the sauna, obviously releasing toxins and stuff. I really like using the sauna.
So what I'm getting to here, Johnny, is I want to put myself through some training now.
Yeah.
I want to go through some training, like on my own with my headphones and stuff like that. But I want to pretend I'm training for a training camp. What does a camp look like? Tell us from the inside. What does your days look like as leading up to the Rudenko fight, for example?
You can't go out, can't drink. You've got to stay in your house as much as you can. You've got to cut back on things like this as much as you can when you get to 4 or 5 weeks out. If you're out too late, my dad will be ringing me saying, no, you're too late. My mum won't let me do this. You need people like that reminding you. All it is you go up, you wake up, have a nice breakfast, go training, come back and sleep, go training again, then get in a sauna afterwards, walk your dog in between all that, have a bit of food at home or in your local restaurant where you can chill, go to sleep, do it all again the next day. No going out on Friday nights, Saturday nights. You might be able to go around your mum and dad's for a little bit, but you've got to be at home resting as much as you can. The rest is just as important. It is military style. Yeah. That's what it is.
How important is the food side?
It's the most important part. The food is your fuel for your sessions. I've just got a nutritionist on board, Lee Rickard, really good guy, and he takes a lot of stress off of me. And he educated me a lot on food, because you think you know what you're doing, but you don't. And it's all about hydrating yourself properly, eating at the right times, eating leaner foods. And I've really noticed a change in my body shape the last 6 months, because I've really tightened up all my nutrition. Yeah. That's the little 3-4-5% that you need to get to the next level. So food is fuel. It's not food, it's fuel for your training, and that's what you've got to remember.
Do you feel stronger with the new nutrition going in?
I feel stronger, I feel leaner, but I'm still the same weight. My body fat's come down. That's just the byproducts of it. But that's a nice feeling, and you feel fit and strong. I feel powerful, and I wake up in a good frame of mind, and I know that I'm doing everything correctly, and that's good for your mental side as well, because you know you're ticking boxes mentally. That's just as important. When you eat bad food, you feel bad. You are what you eat at the end of the day.
Well, talking about food, I know you do like a certain Chinese.
Yes, I do. That's what's had to change the most. I used to love the Chinese on a Saturday night. I don't even have that anymore. When I had the Chinese yesterday, we had a Chinese sit down. I have boiled rice, and the Blue Orchid made me like a beef Cantonese style dish, which is just like really fresh beef with vegetables in it, ginger, soy sauce. It is absolutely beautiful. I don't have any of the sweet and sour chicken balls, lemon chicken, sweet and campo prawns. I can't have any of that. I just have the grilled, the boiled rice with a nice bit of beef Cantonese style, and it's nutritious. The Blue Orchid's a great place. They cook everything fresh, and I can enjoy that guilt free.
How important is it to eat well even when you're not in camp as well?
That's what I've had to change. I've had to make sure that I eat well all year round, not just like listen, after a fight, I had the Five Guys, have something else bad on a Sunday, and then this fight, I just thought, right, that's enough now. I want to get back to eating healthy, because I used to spend 5-6 weeks eating rubbish, and I'd not get really fat, but you notice a little bit difference in your body composition, and you feel sluggish, and it's just like a big claw back. You've got to train for 4 weeks to get back to any sort of fighting fitness, and then you've got to have your camp on top of that. There's no benefit of it, and the bottom line is you don't feel better after eating rubbish for that long. It just becomes a habit. So get into good habits.
Johnny, how do you handle pressure? I mean, you've got an immaculate record, 12 wins, 11 knockouts. You know, how do you go in that ring? Like, does that element go, if I lose, I got a blemish on my record?
Yeah, there's an element of that. I never want to lose. No one wants to lose as a competitor, as a sportsman. But if you do lose, you take it on the chin. And if you lose in a good manner, that's just as good. And you it's always different after it's happened, you know. You take a different outlook on it, but I never want to lose. Who wants to lose? No one wants to lose. Winning is everything.
How do you recover after a grueling fight?
Little holiday, chill out with my mum and dad. Like after this fight, it wasn't a grueling fight, obviously, but I took them to Mallorca. We chilled out there, spend time with your family, just relax in the sunshine, you know, and mentally rest more than anything, not just physically. Just you could just mentally just decompress and enjoy a few days of not having to worry about anything.
Nice. You said you sparred quite a few people. You've sparred Joe Joyce, David Allen, Tyson Fury,
Daniel Dubois, Derek Chisora, Carlos.
You've actually sparred him as well?
Recently, a few weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was that?
Very good, very good. I don't talk about sparring because it's like a gentleman's agreement, but really good sparring. Derek always gives great work, and you know you're going to get intense rounds, so it's brilliant going to spar Derek. It's a bucket list thing for me to spar someone like him. So yeah, sparred him, Carlos Takam, Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clark. There's more. I'm trying to think who else there is. Eddie Hall, the world's strongest man.
Oh yeah,
that was unbelievable. He can really punch.
Really?
By the way, he can whack. He's probably just as powerful as Daniel Dubois. But yeah, there's been loads of different names I've sparred. Trying to think, Chris Billum Smith, the world champion at cruiserweight. Really enjoy sparring. It's how I've had to learn my craft, you know.
Yeah, I mean, who's been
Filip Hrgovic?
Who's been your favourite?
Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Going up to spar Tyson Fury. I remember hitting the bag before I was going to spar him, and I thought, is this even real? I was only 21, 22 at the time, and I thought, is this even real? This is like one of my heroes, one of the country's heroes.
Yeah.
And getting to spar him. And what a down-to-earth man he was, and his whole family. And yeah, they're just normal geezers.
How elusive is he? Because he finds angles and gaps and everything.
He finds angles and gaps, but he also uses his strength well and is able to grapple you well. And I'm a good grappler because I played rugby, and I'm good at using my strength. But you could feel his experience, you know. And he's playing around. He's sparring 3 or 4 guys at one time in one spar, and I was just lucky enough to have a few rounds with him, and it was brilliant.
Is it any different fighting somebody that tall, nearly 7 foot?
Yeah, definitely. You have to close the gap a lot more. You don't want to be at the end of someone as elusive and as gangly as Tyson Fury. Like, you won't get near him if you're too far away, you know.
Who's the hardest puncher you faced?
Daniel Dubois, without a doubt, hardest puncher. Joint with Eddie Hall, actually. Eddie, my good friend. He can seriously whack as well.
Has he got the stamina?
Not as much as Daniel Dubois or any of the other guys, but you don't want to bear hug Eddie Hall either, because he can seriously... I remember I've done that. I thought, I'm going to just try and grapple him just to see what it's like. And I thought, right, I'm never doing that again. Squeeze me to death.
Amazing. Well, I've got a quick fire round questions for you.
Nice one.
And yeah, let's go through this.
Go on.
Your nickname in the ring and how'd you get it?
Romford Bull. Got it in Vegas when an American guy said, "You fight like a bull, man. Where are you from?" I said, "Romford." He said, "You're the Romford Bull."
Come on. Pre-fight meal?
Pre-fight meal, something very basic. Bit of plain pasta, maybe a bit of chicken breast, nothing exciting. And then in the changing room, have a Rice Krispie bar, something a little bit carby to fuel me up for the fight.
Any hidden talents outside of boxing?
Hidden talents outside of boxing, nothing like a talent, but I've just got a real interest in history, and I'm good at writing essays. That's what I would say. I got the highest mark in my year for my synoptic essay on the Russian Revolution at Cooper's, and that was a really intense essay where you've got to pull different leaders from different eras and then make synoptic links of different themes going through it, and I really enjoyed that. More of a geeky thing rather than a talent.
You're really articulate, I have to say.
Yeah.
You're not just sporty.
I love history.
You speak with a lot of stuff that you've read.
I like reading. I've read lots at university. I've done a lot on Napoleon's history as well, just through on my own. I didn't study him as part of my subjects, but I did a little at A-level on him. But for my history degree, it was more on the Russian Revolution. But I love reading about famous leaders and different military battles, you know.
I've heard some conspiracy theorists as well about the Rothschilds and Napoleon losing, but the English saying, the French won, so the stocks in the UK went down, they bought them all up cheap.
It wouldn't surprise me, things going on in this world, but interesting stuff.
Your fight playlist, what have you got in the bank?
Let's get it out.
Before you're coming out, getting you punched.
Let me have a look here. Let me have a look. So I've got two for the last one. I make a new one every time. I've got Babbage 1 and Babbage 2. Okay. Babbage 1 is like all more relaxing ones. When you start getting into the change room, you're chilling out a little bit. Got a bit of Zach Bryan, obviously. Pink Skies, Glory of Love, Peter Cetera, I think his name is. A few more songs by Morgan Wallin. Just like some nice, easy listening country songs. Luke Combs, generic ones. Bit of Pet Shop Boys. Nothing too mad. And then when it gets a bit closer to the fight, Babbage 2 came out. The Boys of Summer by Don Henley. Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. Bit of Rocky, No Easy Way Out.
Come on.
Survivor, I Can't Hold Back. What Cowboys Do, 2 Dozen Roses. The theme from The Last of the Mohicans, probably my favourite song. Just like an instrumental one. You're the Voice, John Farnham. And it changes every fight. There's just different ones. Rasputin as well by Boney M. Just like easy listening, but catchy tunes, you know.
What song you gonna come out to next?
Always Country Roads with John Denver. Always go from that one. But I mix it up sometimes before. I was thinking this one I could have had an England Euros song when we was playing in the Euros. But what did I have this time? I had Here I Go Again, Whitesnake, into Country Roads. I think I might keep that because I like that.
What's your favourite knockout of yours?
The last one.
Yeah.
Because I like Alan Babbage as a man, but their whole team, everyone, they thought it was too soon for me, and they was talking a lot of smack before the fight. So satisfying that he couldn't even land a punch.
I was sick, man. Watching it at home, I was like, boys.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, I do like a heavyweight fight, but we love a knockout.
Yeah, and it was clean. Like I landed 8 unanswered shots where I've just shortened up my... Yeah. I'm not loading my shots up now, I'm just throwing them, and I landed 8 on the button. So sorry, Alan.
I saw the raging bull, bro.
He was there.
It was just like you just walked him down.
Once I can see that you're hurt or getting caught, I've got a good instinct to carry on.
You can see the confidence in you, because as soon as you hit, you know what you've done, and you just go in with confidence, whereas other people might hold back and is it true, is it not? And
that's not what people want to watch. People want to see people go for it. And that's what you got to remember. People want to see people.
Can you take a shot?
Yeah, I've taken a few. Some big ones. And I can hold it, but it's different. You haven't seen in the ring yet with 10-ounce gloves on. I think when a heavyweight lands clean on any other heavyweight, it's not good news, but I think I'd try and have the faculties still there to recover from it, but you don't know until it happens to you.
Yeah. They say it's not how hard you hit.
It's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Yeah.
Love that. Boxing heroes. If you could go back in time with a boxing legend, who would you fight?
He's not real, but it is Rocky. Rocky Balboa. That is the best. It's the best film of all time. Rocky, the Rocky films.
So motivational.
It's not just about boxing. It's a love story at first with him and Adrian, but it's about life. Yeah. It's not about how hard you hit, it's how hard you can get hit. It's the best film of all time. So there's some great ones. Rocky Marciano, Henry Cooper, Ali, obviously, Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes, Lennox Lewis. Great names, Mike Tyson. But Rocky is the one.
I love that. Are you superstitious at all? So like,
do
you do any rituals before a fight or anything?
I always wear my same rugby socks for every fight.
You're joking.
Yeah, Exeter Uni rugby socks. They're from 2017. Still got them. They're getting crustier and crustier, but they're surviving. Yeah. But the superstition isn't that it's got to be the same pair. Eventually, I'll get a new pair of Exeter Uni rugby socks. You know,
I might send you a pair.
Yeah, they'll send me a new pair. Hopefully, Richard Hodges send me a new pair.
Boxing life. What's the most unexpected thing about being a professional boxer that you might not have realised?
That from doing it, my dad would become more famous than me. That is the most unusual part of it. People recognise him more than me. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah, your dad, what he gets on every post goes viral.
It's mental. It's mental. But I think it's just because he's another one down to earth. He's normal. Listen, I think people watch him and think that's real life right there. You know, he's just being authentic. His authentic self. He's entertaining. It's a bit shocking at times, but he's an entertainer and he's good energy to be around. You know.
100. I've seen him there, and he's just like a big support, and he's just so humble. Doesn't act like anything. You know.
And he don't big me up too much. Like he supports me and promotes me, but he tells me the truth as well, which is the most important thing.
Very important. How do you celebrate your big wins?
It's nothing too extravagant, really. It's just nice to, on a Sunday, chill out, go and see my nan, go and see my aunts and uncles, all the people that, like my close family, you know, Dave and Stuart and Christine and Michael, my cousin, see my brothers. And then one time, I think after one of the Southern area, we just went in Wimpy on the Sunday, went to my granddad's grave, showed the belt to him, and that's what it's all about. Yeah. You don't need all this big entourage of people around you. You don't need to go to big parties. Just go with your family, have a nice holiday somewhere. That's what life's all about, because when it all goes wrong, all the people that want you to go to parties, they won't be calling you up. The people that will be there is your nan, your mum and dad, your brothers, you know.
You're so mature, bro, honestly. What is your fantasy matchup that you'd like to see? So, like, two boxers versus each other.
AJ versus Fury. That's the one we've always wanted to see. Joshua versus Fury.
Who wins?
I don't know at this stage. That's why it's still... a couple of years ago, you'd probably say Fury. But it was like getting a point where you think, oh, that fight's never going to happen. It's so boring. Like, they keep talking about it. It's not happening. But if Fury comes through Usyk, whether he wins or loses, the fight next year to make is AJ Fury, Wembley Stadium, 90,000 people, 100,000 people. That is the fight to make. It's a big fight for both of them guys.
I think we need to do a part 2 at some point, Johnny, as well, because we haven't gone much into your journey. I know you've been university. Yeah. I wanted to ask you more about them things, about your history degree, what stopped you from going through academic side, but we'll have to save that for another day.
Definitely.
But if there's somebody at home, you know, your journey is quite inspiring. You're reaching the top. Like, you're on your path to success. We can see that. You've got a great, you know, pedigree. Like, you know, you're having great fights. You're around the right people, the right network. If somebody's like 18, 19 right now at home and going, oh, what do I do in my life? You know, things, I'm not going to be the lucky one. It's not going to go for me. What advice are you giving that person? My advice is, don't think too far ahead. Do the simple things well in life. Enjoy it. Have a good group of friends. The people that you hang around with, that's what you will become. If you hang around 4 losers, you'll become the 5th. If you hang around 4 people who are inspired, you'll become the 5th. So the company you keep is very, very important. Have a good network of people around you and enjoy life. Don't think you just got to do something you enjoy. Don't think you've got to do something you hate it. What if you enjoy doing something, you'll become successful at it. And that's what I think. And don't think too far ahead. Just work up, work out, turn up, work hard, and good things will happen. Johnny, you've been absolutely brilliant. If you could just let the audience at home how they follow you. Yep.
I'm on Instagram, Johnny Fisher 1, on Twitter, Johnny Fisher Box, Romford Ball on TikTok, and thank you very much for having me, Sean. I've really enjoyed it.
What a pleasure. And there you go, guys. Another inspirational podcast. We've got a future heavyweight champion in the studio, guaranteed. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a comment.